Now when I got the Valentine radar detector, the first thing I wanted to do is mount it up on a bike and see how it worked. I started on the R1, made a bracket, made my box. I actually made 2 boxes, several brackets, and came to a couple of really quick conclusions. And the second mount I made, the second bracket, was for the 650. And after making the box smaller, this is the second box I made, the second bracket. This bracket now, it comes off this bolt, and that comes right off the bike. So in a matter of under a minute, I can have this off of one bike. Then on the bottom of this is one recessed bolt and a blind nut. The whole box, the unit and everything can be bolted to another bracket and done. It probably takes legit about 3 minutes to do the whole conversion from one motorcycle to the other, and that's within the range that I thought would be acceptable. Now if you only have one motorcycle, you can mount it up where all the stuff's permanently mounted, and of course that's beautiful. But in my case, what I want to do is I typically ride a different bike every day, every other day, and if there's no real rhyme or reason to it, it's just whatever I'm in the mood for. But I wanted to have, just like before riding any of the bikes in my collection, the first thing I would do before any ride, check that I have oil, the chain is tight, and that the proper air is in the tires. Well, now there's a 5th step, and take the screw, bolt, the one bolt, whatever's going to happen with this, eventually, that I can go from bike to bike to bike to bike to bike, and very quickly. Now it all sounds real easy and simple until you actually go to do it, and you realize it's a little more complicated. As an example, when I made this bracket up, and this bracket now has a Velcro piece in the front, you only need one bolt. One bolt can hold, because the Velcro keeps it from shifting around. Getting the clearance right, and anybody that's ever changed the handlebars on a bike that had clip-ons knows that clearance is a problem. Well, it turns out it works fine on this. But today, the issue today, and this is what I wanted to share to see how this is going to work out. The issue is on this bike, I am going to make a bracket that goes from here, Velcro's down here, and I'm going to have to turn the box sideways. Now let me just show this, because what I have is the box can go this way or it can go this way. It isn't important. And a further step on this is going to be, and I'll explain that in a minute, this piece comes off with Velcro and I can just turn it around, because this box is too long to fit in this area without hitting something. But if I turn it sideways, it looks like well, when I'm done with this day's experiment, I guess. And I love to share these experiments because pretty much everybody that does this kind of work knows you almost never get this right on the first shot. Now to move on to the next level, because this is really funny. When I thought about it, I saw Bob Navola's tank bag, and I thought one of the things I ought to have, I could use it on the RD, and I could use it on the GS both, because they both don't have a way of putting that bolt in by the gas cap. There's nothing to bolt it to here, and I don't want things hanging off the handlebars, and I really don't like seeing all the wires and stuff. So what I did, I had Karen order me up exactly the tank bag that Bob Navola has, and I'll kind of go through if I get that to work. But today's project is going to be to get this bracket installed on a bike. I'll have to move the bikes around, get this installed, see if I can get it sideways, and if it's not time to get the baby yet, get a quick test ride. But this will be the 3rd bike we have. And by the way, one of the things, as I've ridden the bikes now over and over and over with the radar detector, yeah, I know some people are going to say, oh yeah, when you go past a store with a garage door opener, it goes beep. The beeps don't bother me at all, because virtually every ride I've been on with this, it has somehow saved my bacon or given me a warning or made me aware of where these radar traps are. This was the first thing I did to all the motorcycles. I put 2 of these, and of course one you can charge the battery. I have my battery tender, down there, and that wires up that it can charge a bike. And also, I disconnect this. This is the wire to the radar detector. I don't know why. I'm just paranoid, I guess. I do have to remember to shut it off at the end of every ride. And then I do, of course, hook it up. Now, there's an advantage to having 2 of these. And this really is a big advantage to me, is I can run my electric jacket as we get into the winter riding season, my electric stuff, and the radar detector at the same time. Now, these are very similar. You can buy them, of course, I got these from Amazon. And as long as you're using all the same connectors, everything is universally connectable. And I found this to be the easiest way. Not the most reliable way, because from time to time, I've got some of these that are 5 and 6 years old, and they start where they make intermittent connections, and I just replace them. And they're $5 or $6 a piece. It's just easier to get new ones. So step one is going to be just to remove it off this motorcycle. Make sure I've got everything that I need. It's as simple as removing one bolt and just pulling this whole unit off in one piece. That's about 30 seconds. So one of the criteria I had when I designed this up, and believe me, all this stuff is ongoing. It's not like, well, hopefully if you're doing this kind of stuff from my video, you could pick up some ideas what not to do. Number one, what not to do. Don't try to mount this whole box with a piece of Velcro. That didn't work. That was a one test ride mistake. But I've got one screw, one Allen wrench. This comes off with the Velcro. In fact, I could make this a little bit, I don't even need that much Velcro on there. The wire hangs out, and that's all there is. Now it's just a question of, in this bike, there's one bolt here. I put the new bracket on, and I got to go see if it's going to fit. Now, I made the bracket ahead of time, but I don't know if it's going to fit. And one of the things I wanted is, when I was not using this, an example, when I'm done with this, I put that bolt, one bolt back in. The only thing you see is that little piece of Velcro, which I don't care about that. If it really bothered you, you could just throw that away each time you change it. The Velcro is cheap enough. But this now, I'm definitely convinced this is the next step in this, the way this is going to all go. And now it's just a question of that one screw, change the bracket, and see how that's going to fit on the Ninja, the green Ninja. There's both Ninjas. What am I talking about? And this is all that's required to replace the bracket, is one countersunk screw. There's a blind nut in there, so I never even have to take the box apart. And now it's just a question of replacing the bracket. And of course, each bike has a unique bracket. Now, the one exception to this rule, I think the way this is going to work is I'm going to wind up using it, even though I have a gas cap here, I'm going to make a tank bag. The two choices are, I have to see how comfortable it is to ride with the tank bag. When it's mounted on the black Ninja, it doesn't bother me at all. It's like it's not even there. But I wanted to try that. And I have a bracket out here. I can take the GoPro mount. I don't use that often. Or I have a GoPro mount on the side of the bike, either one or the other. Or I even have a bolt up here. I can put the mount. I want it to be, you know, it's got to be able to shoot through the windshield. Now, here's the thing. Now, I don't know that this is totally true or not. I've heard you can shoot through this kind of a windshield. Well, this is not a normal windshield. This is carbon fiber. So it does shoot right through the R1 windshield perfectly. On the bikes that don't have a windshield, it's not a problem at all. And the other thing that I heard is that when you're sitting on a bike, you're blocking the back antenna somewhat, but I have that back arrow goes on all the time. So I'm wondering, you know, how much of this is old wives' tales and how much is something that absolutely might be true, but it's not, it doesn't affect what we want to do. So every bike now is a unique thing. I'm closing in on it. By the end of the day, I hope I have half of the bikes done. That would be a worthy goal. You can basically see the difference. The 650 mounts in a totally reverse way, but if I wanted to, I could mount this by the gas cap also. I was doing this one as an experiment, and it seemed to work. Now I have one that works. It doesn't matter if you bolt it in the front or the back, and put the Velcro. This one has the Velcro in the back. This one has the Velcro in the front. Because what I found, and it's significant, all you need is one bolt holding this. That makes it nice and solid. And in the front, the Velcro just keeps it from doing that, the little vibration. And it seems to work. Now we've got the 2 or the 3 I wanted to get done before the really cold weather set in. And then I'll start working on the tank bag stuff. Now mounting this bracket up was pretty challenging because you can see what I have to deal with is the clearance at full lock. And I've got that right. So that worked out fine, and that's why I have to have this box sideways. Then to line this up the way it should be. And then the wire routed right behind us, behind the fairing very nicely, so you can hook this up very conveniently. Now this is what I always think is important. When I'm sitting on the bike, this doesn't interfere with anything. I think the only thing this would limit if you were, and you're obviously not going to use this on a track day, so you get your head down under the windshield, but we don't really do that often, so, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, we get nice access to the key. This is not in the way. This is what this looks like when you're riding a motorcycle, and you can see if you got the radar to the side, the back of the front, how many bogies you have. Until you've ridden with one of these, and many of my friends already have, you don't realize the security you have. Just knowing where these radar traps are. A lot of times you ride right through them and you don't even know it. But then the day they want to get you, you're toast. And now all that's left is the best part of everything. A quick test ride, make sure everything's okay and nothing's loose or out of position or inconvenient. And by the time I get back, it'll be time to pick up the baby. So I hope you enjoyed watching this and got some ideas. And even if you don't use this, hey, if you're on a group ride, always let the guy in the front have the radar detector. It can't hurt. Anyway, and thanks for watching. This is an ongoing series. We're going to pick this up with the next motorcycle soon. Thanks for watching.